Well, hello everyone. This is Grace of GB Maltese, and I am doing a whip and chap while working on my Valentine's collab video with Crafting Journey with Rebecca. This is my lovely canvas, and I wanted to show you, I pulled the paper back on this part to show you this absolutely glorious shine of these drills. It is beautiful. I hope you can see that. It is so pretty. I am loving, because these are rounds, but they're a 2.5 millimeter, the same size as a square. And I really think they give it more definition. I am loving this. Yes, I will be getting more Treasure Studios art. I love this. The round, I'm amazed at the difference between this round and the 2.8 you use on others. So I pulled the paper back so you could see it. I'll put it back down to make sure nothing happens. The one thing I can say about this plastic, it is very thick, really thick, and doesn't tear easily. So I'm loving everything about this. So I wanted to show it to you, and I want to thank Rachel again for donating these canvases to our collab. I will definitely be purchasing from her shop. They are gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. In fact, I'm talking with her right now to do a custom for me, and I'll be showing that to you once that is in the works. Isn't it beautiful? This is a Swing of Love, and I'll put a link down below. Chinese New Year is going on right now, so if you didn't get a chance to order this before and you'd like it, you can get this all the way through February 29th. That's going to be the end of our collab, so that'll be the last time you can order my canvas or Rebecca's canvas. So, they're gorgeous. Check Rebecca's out and see how hers looks. But I am loving this. She's doing a square. I decided I'm going to try the rounds. I had never done a 2.5 millimeter round, and wow. I'm very impressed. Very impressed. So, I need to take care of a little business before we start on this. So, we got a drawing to do. So let me get my comment picker loaded up and ready to do that. Okay, I have put the URL of the video I did with the sparklers. You were to use a sentence with the word sparklers in it in order to be able to enter this giveaway for today. Well, it's not a giveaway. What this is the name that I draw today is going to be the name that is going to be entered into our grand prize collab giveaway. Now, what we do is I have Rebecca's first person, and that person was Becky Porter. And I'm going to draw now for my channel. I'm keeping that so that we will have them written down so we know who's going to go into the drawing at the end. And it's going to be for 2 grand prizes. Every week she's going to show something that's going in the pot, and every week I'm going to show something. So far you can go back and check Rebecca's videos and see what's in there. And I've got the sparklers from last week, and I've got something new to show you today, and I'll show you that next. So I have that in here. Let me get my content. My comments are loaded up. Let's see. We have 54 unique comments. So I'm going to come over here, and we will click Start, and let's see who the person is. Okay. Let's move along. This is so exciting. Okay. Allison McDermott, or McDermott. I want to say that correctly. The stars look like sparklers. She definitely used that in a sentence. So, Allison, I'm going to write your name in my book to be one of the people whose name will be entered into that giveaway. Once I get my pen to writing. There we go. Okay, so by the end, our last giveaway, the drawing will be on February 29th on leap year. So, I now have Allison McDermott and Becky Porter as 2 of our entries. So today, I'm going to show you what the prize is, and you need to stay tuned and listen what you need to do in order to be chosen when I do my drawing next week. So let me get things settled around and show you the goodies this time. These are the goodies I have to show you this week, and you'll see there are 2. One will go in my package, one will go in Rebecca's package, and they are the same thing, and we're just going to open one. Tina of Diamond Painting with Sparklers donated this package also. We had the sparklers from last week. When I got this, my mouth dropped open. I was speechless, and I very seldom get speechless. First of all, look at that, what just fell out. These stickers, oh my gosh, they're gorgeous. And then here's another one. So there are these 3 gorgeous stickers. Look at that. They are divine. And she has even written, "Congratulations on your win. Enjoy your goodies." So, and look at her information. On Instagram, she is Sparkle with Tmall. She has an email address, dpwithsparklers@gmail.com. And she has a Facebook page, Diamond Painting with Sparklers. And I will put her Facebook page down below and her Instagram. Go check her out. Oh my gosh, she has gorgeous things. Wait till you see what she put in this bag. I kept pulling things out, and I was like, I want to win this. Okay, first of all, is this little piece that can hold your pink wax. Then inside that is this adorable little cover minder. I don't want to take it out. It's got the magnets on the back. Isn't it beautiful? Look at the colors. It's gorgeous. I don't want to get my fingerprints all over it, so let me put it back in there nice and snug. Now remember, both bags have the same thing. So, now look what you have. A full-size bag of 310 AB rounds. They are gorgeous. Now, when I saw this, I saw there were 3 packages of 5,200. I'm like, why is that? Well, this is a 5,200 round. Of course, that's white ABs. Then, look at this one. This is a glow in the dark 5,200 rounds. Then she put square jellies. Look at those. I had not seen the jellies before. Those are awesome. So, you've got 4 rounds and you got 1 for squares. And that's not all. No. Here is another cover minder. This one's a little bigger. Look at that. It is beautiful. And it's got the magnets on the back, of course. It's beautiful. Wow. Tina, you talk about generous. This woman is so generous. There is these sparklers are called for squares. These are the 2.5 millimeter sparklers that can be used on square diamond paintings. So if you like squares, you've got these. I got these small ones, these 2.5s to use on, I bought some to use on my canvas here since these are 2.5 rounds. So these are going to be awesome. If you win this, now look at that. Look at these tweezers. They are so pretty. These have the rounded tip so that you do not stab yourself with the, I call them points of death. You won't jab the blood out of yourself. Look at that. So you can use these with squares if you want. Remove drills that you want to take off. And look at that. They have little jewels up there. Ah, it's gorgeous. I don't know if you could tell the colors. And there's also another bag of the original sparklers. So, with the sparklers from last week and this package, you're going to have 2 packages of sparklers. The original sparklers for a regular round. This is amazing. Just amazing. The value of this is tremendous. These are beautiful. Just beautiful. Put it back out a little bit. All of this is in there. So, that is what this week's prize is. You've got, did I show these? The square 310s and round 310s. So, doesn't matter if you like doing squares or rounds, you're covered. And I could use these squares even on this painting I'm doing now. One thing I love about this Treasure Studios Arts, you can, since all the squares are 2.5, it could be done in rounds or squares. So if I chose to do part of it in squares, I could do that. And that's giving me an idea. I don't know. We might. You never know with me. Just hang in there and watch and see what fun comes along. Alright, I'm going to try to package all this back into the baggie. It probably ain't going to look as nice as how Tina did hers. I didn't open this one because I knew I'd never get it back in there. But everything will be put back in there. So let me get all this put back in and we're going to do a little drilling and chatting. Getting ready to work on my gorgeous canvas, and I'm using Patty Wax to do this. I want to show you a little trick that I found, another way, because some people said it's wasteful when you've got those pieces, you know, coming off. Well, let me show you something I do. Okay, digging in there, getting my Patty Wax into my piece. I've got it real soft because I've got my space heater on in here, and I just take it because, like I said, I have it nice and soft, and I'm just kind of shoving those pieces in there just to get it a little bit more in there. Then I'm putting my pieces like that in here, and this is what I have been doing when I want to load up a pen. I just pick up those little pieces and kind of mash them together, and I have been sticking it in there kind of like you would the pink wax and getting some pieces off. So, no, I am not wasting my wax. This is a new thing that I thought, you know, and I just take it off of here so this stays nice and clean. I put it in this. You can put it in anything. And when you get several pieces, you, like I said, you need to have it warm. I've got a space heater on in this room because it gets cold. It's, what, 40-something degrees here today. I don't have the heater on, the central heat on. I just turn this little space heater on in here, and it goes right on in there. And then I just pull that extra off, and I just kind of wipe off the excess on here. And then I have this silicone release paper that I use. You notice I have a sticker on it that lets me know this is the correct side. It's real shiny and slick on one side, but just in case I'm in a hurry, because you can use these over and over, that might be something I put inside our little giveaway too, because I could not find a small box of them. I had to get a box of 250 for $25, which really is not that expensive when you're getting 250 sheets this size, or 10 by 10 inches. So, if you think that would be kind of a cool giveaway, let me know. A few sheets of this, and I would just put stickers on the wrong side. But that's a little trick that I started doing on Patty Wax. For those of you who are still having trouble kind of getting used to it, or thinking, man, that's wasteful, I'm not going to buy that stuff. But you know, you can use it however you want. And if you've noticed this bruise, yeah, I did this. I have a tabletop easel that I've been working on with this, and I'm not using it today because I wanted it to lay flat so that maybe you could see it better. Yeah, I went to move it, and I left the piece on there because I didn't want to carry them two separate ones into another room. So I was carrying the easel, and it pinched me really hard. Well, my dogs were right there underneath my feet. I couldn't let go. I couldn't do anything. I just held it till I got to the table and set it down. And this was from a few days ago. So, yeah, it's looking yellow and gross. I'm sorry. But that's just how graceful I really am. Okay, I'm going to turn this way, I think, because I have areas right in here. I have actually finished doing 2 colors on this. I am now on my 3rd color, which is G, and there's a lot of G on here. It's beautiful. Move some of this over. Turn you this a little bit so you can see what I'm doing. I could pull you in just a little closer, and we'll see how this works. I haven't tried this with my camera yet. I've been using my webcam to do these because I have to really watch my camera, because when it's been on about 22 minutes, it turns itself off, so I have to really watch it. So I'll just try to remember to watch it. Now, if you have beads and you're not sure how to get them straight, your drills, I shake them a little bit, go to the side a little bit, and then just kind of pat the little bottom, you know, like a little baby's bottom, because I've got quite a few drills in there. And that way I get some nice straight lines, and they are face up. Now, I've told you in videos before, I normally do not like to use a multi-placer. That's just me. Everybody's different. And don't let anybody tell you, you gotta do it this way, because you don't. You do it however makes you happy. If you want to put some glue on the end of your nose and put those suckers down, hey honey, you go for it. I'd like to see that though, because I don't think I could manage. I thought about that. Can you imagine trying to put these down? You know, you look like a bird, you know, pecking for food. I get these really strange ideas sometimes, but you know how it is. Sometimes you're going along, and a lot of times I just diamond paint, and I just sit in the quiet. Got my dogs laying around and sleeping. Sometimes I just want peace and quiet. I don't want any noise or distractions. Other times I have YouTube videos going on. Sometimes I might, I found, if you type into the YouTube search for old time radio, there are some old time radio shows that you can listen to. I found some. I haven't listened to any of them yet, but they're like 30 minutes long or something, and I thought that might be kind of cool, change from watching TV, especially if you're doing something else, because you don't have to watch it. So if you're cleaning or whatever, and there's not a, you know, a podcast on that you want to listen to, or that you want to, you know, listen to when you have a chance to sit down and watch it, I thought that was kind of cool. So, these are, I don't know if you can tell in here, but there are 3 different colors. I can kind of see them in the camera. These are not like complete color blocking. There's one color here, there's a different color here. There's another color up in some of these other areas. So far, like I said, I've used 3 different colors. And I am just, as you can see, this color's a little bit different. I'm not sure how well you can see it. But it's really cool, and I can't wait to see it all together. It's going to look like, you know, stripes or something. So I'm kind of excited about that. And I know some of you told me that you ordered this one, or you ordered the one Rebecca had to work along with this. And if you ordered it when I first put my first video up, you should be getting it pretty soon, because it takes 2 to 3 weeks probably to get it. Now, with the Chinese New Year going on, anything coming from China is going to take time. Now, Treasure Studios Art is located in Australia, and she does the images. She makes these to the way you want it. You tell her what you want, give her some ideas, and she came up with this canvas. We gave her some ideas what we wanted. She came up with several different ideas, and I picked this one. I love it. I do. I don't have my light board on. This is very easy to see. I'm not as close, pulled up as close as I normally am. I guess I could pull up a little closer in my chair. You're not going to really see me. You don't want to be seeing me. Well, I mean, you want to watch this. I get fascinated watching people putting drills down. It's just so relaxing. And I've had some people tell me my voice is very relaxing, and sometimes I listen to it to go to sleep. That's fine. I'm glad to be able to help any insomniac that might be out there. But go back and watch it again in order to get your name into the drawing. Let me know if you like the way this looks better with me doing it with my camera, if you can see it better than when I'm doing it, and I can even pull in closer, than doing it with my webcam. I just have to watch for when it turns off or gets close to going to turn off. I have to watch the timer on it, or I'll be talking and to nobody. Just be little Bogey's laying in here on the couch like he normally does. And I had someone ask what this thing is. This is a straightener. Let me get it up where you can see it. Okay, and you just put it in between your rows of well, let me get in camera. Since I have it so close, I can't tell what I'm doing. Okay, you just put it in there between the rows, and you go like that. If you have some that are kind of crooked, and since I have been doing mine mostly one by one, you're not going to have to use it too often, unless you just put it down crooked, which is very easy to do sometimes if you're not paying attention. Or you can put it upside down like I just did. But I have heard people say, what's the right way to diamond paint? It's whatever is easiest for you. That's the right way to diamond paint. And I can't pick anything up today for some reason. Usually I have my tray closer to me, and I think that's what I will do. I'm just going to move it right here so I can see it better. There we go. Now I can see to pick these babies up. It's kind of hard to see if I just want to make sure I'm still in shot for you. Okay, I'm going to straighten those a little because I put it crooked. Yeah, sometimes you have the crooked road. Now, I have had people in the past telling me they have been missing my lives, and at this point I am planning on going back to doing lives again. We'll see if next week is going to work or not. I used to do my lives on Wednesdays at between 12 o'clock and 12:30 at noon Central Standard Time. And for people, some people were off for lunch, and then there were people who don't work that would watch, and mostly I'm just talking to you. We had a good time just chatting with each other. I am not Very seldom am I working on a craft because I want to be talking to you. I don't want to have my mind off on something else when I do a live. Because when I'm doing this, it would be very difficult for me to look at the screen and see what you're saying. And it's important to me to talk to you, to look you in the eye and talk to you. Well, I pretend like I'm looking you in the eye. And when you're writing to me, I know there's somebody on the other end. So let me know if there's a better day for you than that. Like I said, I used to do Wednesdays. At one time I did Thursdays. So, I don't know. You know, other people go live. I don't know what their schedules are. I am not in charge of their life and when they do things. I normally do mine during the day because my husband comes home at night and we usually talk about things. But if there might be sometimes I do it in the evening. I've told him I wanted him to get on here so you guys could meet him. He sometimes can be a hoot and a holler. Some of the sayings I come up with, I have learned from him. Like, if I say, I'm doing great, I'm finer than frog's hair. Yeah, I got that from him and a few other little sayings. He's lived in this little town longer than I have. So, yeah, he's got all kinds of things that he hears and says, and I find them fascinating. I was an English teacher, and I love language and different things about it, and I thought I'd talk to you a little bit. Jerry actually had someone send him something that told where some of our idiomatic phrases come from. And I found it fascinating. I'm like, wow. Like, it's raining cats and dogs. I'll tell you the origin of that in just a moment. But I find that kind of thing interesting because it came up many years ago. It's not something new. And language changes all the time. There are some new words in our language that are pretty neat, pretty recent. You know, people come up with a new catchphrase and it catches on, and then it's being used, and you wonder, where did that come from? So, some of these, or probably most of these, you have heard before, and I'd heard before, and I didn't know where they came from. So, I'll tell you a few of them and the little story behind them. If I don't stop putting these things upside down, I don't know what I'm going to do. Like I said, I'm talking and thinking about other things at the same time, and I normally don't do that. I'm normally just sitting here, and no, I don't need to concentrate to do this, especially this part, because these are just open spaces for the letter G, which is the color I am using. And that DMC code is 807. So these colors are 807. And what did I do with my... Oh, I stuck it underneath there. And it'll tell you that on the bag. Like I said, I've got you pulled in close, so I'm having a hard time finding where you're at. It's 807. And I put the number on there, number 13 rather. So, these are beautiful colors. I'm going to pull you out well, that was the wrong way. I'll pull you out just a little bit. You can see that. I think you can probably see me. You can let me know whether you like it up real close or whether you like it this way better. Okay, let's get on with what I was starting to talk about. And okay, it's raining cats and dogs. Alright, back in the day when they used to have houses, they used roofs made out of straw. And that would be the warmest place for animals to climb up onto the straw thatched roof if it was cold, because you've got the fire going on inside the house. So animals would climb up on there, whether it's cats or rats, all kinds of animals would climb up in there. And what would happen is when it rained, those animals, the thatch would get very slick, and the animals would start falling off of the thatched roof. So, boom, you know, right in front of the window, you got these animals falling down. And so that's where the phrase, "It's raining cats and dogs." Not sure how many dogs might have gotten up there. I guess it depends on how easily it would have been for them to get on the roof. But that's where that phrase came from, and because I always thought, you know, where would somebody even think about cats and dogs falling from the sky? Well, that is where it came from. So I thought that was very interesting. Now, another one that I thought is kind of gross in a way, but I've heard the phrase, "they're piss poor." Okay, and I'm like, what? How could anyone come up with something like that? Well, many, many years ago, they used to tan hides with urine. So, people who were very poor, well, they pissed in a pot, and they would take that urine and sell it to the tanners. So that's how they made a little extra money. And if you had to sell your urine, you were known as piss poor. And then I've heard the phrase, "so poor that you didn't have a pot to piss in." Well, the people who were really poor did not have a pot that they could piss in to take to the tanners. So I thought, well, you know, that's really kind of crude. And I don't use those phrases, but I found it interesting that they used to tan hides with urine. It really grossed me out. I mean, I don't know what they use now, but I'm pretty sure it's probably not urine. I doubt that would pass the FDA. But you never know. So, let me think. Oh, okay. Where did it come that so many brides get married in June? You know, people usually think of June as being the month that people get married. Well, this is where that came from. Okay, I didn't do a good job of filling that pen. So let me go to this one that I filled earlier. Sometimes I don't spend, especially if I'm trying to show it, sometimes I don't do as good a job as I normally do. You just have to work it in, that patty wax in there. But let me tell you, this smells so good. I'm using Granny's Kitchen, and it smells like cookies, and it is divine. Yummy. Anyway, the reason, hold on just a second. Okay, I was talking about June brides, and long time ago, well, a few hundred, you know, in this whole scheme of things, not as long as you might think, they didn't have indoor bathrooms, they didn't have running water, they didn't have access to those things. So, the month of May was the month that was used to take their yearly bath. Yes, you got that right. Yearly bath. So, the reason they chose June was that in June, the bride would still be smelling nice. Of course, it's been, depending on time of the month of June you get married, you might be having a little bit of body odor, so they started carrying a bouquet. So that's the reason the brides carried the bouquets, was to cover up or to mask body odor. And that carried on till today. But that's why weddings were done in June. Yeah, it has centered around bath time. I find these kinds of things just fascinating. You may think, that's weird, but I just, you know, a little bit of history and, you know, where we kind of come from. And it didn't really tell what country it originated from. Some of them did say England, but I don't know if all of them were from England. because that could be anywhere. It could be anywhere. June brides, that's very popular in America, and I can see that happening right here. And if you live in the South, as hot as it gets in the summertime, yeah, you'd want it early in the summer, or you'd be smelling like, well, let's just say, not real pleasant. So I found that to be fascinating. Then, the word for honeymoon came when a bride and groom got married. The bride's father, for 1 month, would give the groom as much honey mead as he wanted to drink, which is a honey beer. So that became known as Honey Month, and then later and they had the lunar calendar, so it would go from 1 month to the next, from one lunar, maybe full moon to the next. So it was called a honeymoon, and since that was something that happened, that's where honeymoon came from. Now, if you find other things that I would be interested if you know any other tales like these, and I thought very interesting. This next one really disturbed me. You've heard of "Don't throw the baby out with the bathwater." And I always wondered, well, who would throw a baby? Okay, you're giving the baby a bath. Who would throw the baby out with the bathwater? Well, again, all of this refers to older times, of course, because we have the lovely conveniences now. But when they would take baths, the person who got to take the first bath was the man of the house. The next ones to take a bath would be the sons. If you had, for example, grown sons who went out and worked in the fields or whatever, they would be the next to use that same bath water. After the men, okay, the man of the house, took their baths, then the woman of the house was allowed to take a bath. After the woman of the house took her bath, then the kids got to bathe. Well, can you imagine how dirty the water is by then, especially when you don't get to bathe often? The last ones to get a bath were the babies. And by then, the water was so dirty that if you dropped somebody down into that bath water, you wouldn't be able to find them because it's so dark and dirty. So that's where the saying came, "Don't throw the baby out with the bath water." I guess it means you better check that water and you didn't leave baby in the water. Wow. That just makes me even more thankful for the modern things that we have. Modern plumbing, hot water. Yes, I'm just very thankful that I live in the time that I do. Because I certainly don't want to be taking baths after everybody else. I might go jump in a creek, and maybe they did that in between times, because they would get very hot water to start with the bath. Can you imagine when it was your time to bathe, the temperature of the water? And, you know, it's put in a big tub, big whatever, you know, size tub that you had. Yeah, that's where the water was put. So, yeah, I'm just really happy I'm not bathing after my husband. Because in these days, if that was going to be the case and we had to do that, I'd be saying, "Honey, you get your little butt out of the tub. I'm going first." Can you imagine? Boy, were things different back in the day. Let me think of something else that was mentioned. Those were the ones that just really stuck with me. Oh, no, here's another one. Oh my gosh, this one totally freaked me out, even more than taking a bath after someone else. I would rather do that than the next thing. You've heard of Saved by the Bell. Well, in England, they would run out of land for bodies to be buried because it's a small island. England is a small island. And what they would do is they would dig up the people who've been buried and take the bones out of the casket, and they would be taken to a bone shop or bone where they would be stored. I'm not really sure exactly what they did with the bones. I'm sure they stored them in some type of fashion so you would know where your loved one was. But they said that one out of, I think it was 20 or maybe 25, 1 out of 25 coffins that they opened, the lids had scratch marks inside, okay? Meaning several someones had been buried alive. And, you know, that's just really odd because you think you know when a person is gone, but there were some other things that happened that might have caused that, and I'll tell you about those in a moment. So what they started doing when they started noticing that, they would tie a string around the wrist of the person who was buried, and that way, if that person happened to be alive and woke up buried, they could move their wrist. And someone took the night shift, is what they called it. They took the night shift and watched and listened to see if that bell moved or rang. And if it did, they were to dig the person up and get them out safely. So I found all of these things to be fascinating. Can you imagine, though? But that's how they could tell that a person, people had been buried alive because they had tried clawing their way out of their coffin. So that's where Saved by the Bell came from. It also, there was another saying that came from that. But, yeah, that was, one person would sit and watch to see if that bell moved or rang or whatever. And then they would dig the person up. So, yes, they were saved by the bell. So next time you say when you're at school, well, kids shouldn't be listening to this at all. This is not kid friendly. Then anytime you hear a bell, like, okay, when I was teaching school, okay, I can use this as a teacher. If something was going to happen, I could say, Saved by the Bell. And that's where it came from. Now you might wonder, how in the world would they not know a person was deceased? Well, on this same paper he gave me, the people used to drink out of cups that were made from lead. And certain things would react to that, especially alcohol. So if, let's say, someone had been out drinking and out of these lead cups, what would happen is they would pass out, and they would be out for at least a couple of days. And what they did was they laid them on the dinner table, and they would eat dinner with the person lying there. They were waiting to see if he was going to wake up. And they called these wakes. Okay? Well, we call wakes something totally different, where we sit with the body, or we call it more like a visitation. Well, what they did was they would wait a couple of days to see if that person woke up, or if they were under the influence of, I guess, slight lead poisoning. And if they woke up, all well and good. If they did not, then they proceeded with having the person buried. And that was called a wake, because you were waiting for them to awaken. And I just like, wow. Wow. The things that we know now lead is not something we should have in our bodies. Well, they didn't know that, and that's what some of the utensils were made out of. And for 400 years, people thought tomatoes were poisonous because they used lead plates, and anything that was acidic could cause more lead. You'd get some lead sickness, I guess you'd call it. I don't know, but it would make them very sick. And the more acidic something was, the more chance you had of having this problem. So eating tomatoes would make people sick, or it could even kill a person if, I guess, they'd eaten enough lead. So for 400 years, I think it was said, tomatoes were considered poisonous. And I guess they didn't eat them. Boy, am I glad for modern day science to have figured all of these things out. But I'm glad. Am I even in screen doing this? I'm going to pull it out a little bit more because I think I maybe, there we go. There. I'm going a little bit further out than you might be able to see. So, I am very glad that we don't have lead plates, lead cups, and all those kinds of things. Yeah, lead poisoning is a big deal. As you can see with what happened with our ancestors and people that were before us. Okay. Another thing I've noticed about these drills, since they're smaller, you sometimes get that popping sound that you get with squares. I can tell more when I'm sitting in the quiet, and I don't know if you could hear that one. I'm yapping, but so you don't hear it. But yeah, I get to hear, especially if I do checkerboard, and I do that when I have a whole lot. Now these were a mixture of a lot of different colors, so I didn't do checkerboard here because it was like that. Let me go along here a minute, see if you hear anything. I'm not sure if you can hear that crunch. Every so often it'll make that little crunch sound that you can hear when you were doing squares, because these are smaller. I'm just loving doing these. I just love the smaller size. Okay, I've said that a few times now, but I really do. I guess I can pull that off and you can kind of see the other part I'm doing, since I'm not. I've got my tray down here. Let's see. There was that was a good one. There was another one. Oh my goodness, there's so many of them. Like I said, I find those kinds of things just really fascinating. Hold on just a minute. My battery is flashing red. Let me get a new one. Got a nice fresh battery in here. Only God knows how long I have been talking now. I will stop in just a moment. But I do need to say what you need to comment in order to be entered into being entered as a name for the drawing for the grand prize of our collab, Valentine collab. This collab, as I said, goes all the way until February 29th, so there are going to be more goodies showing up as we go. And since I have been telling you some different little stories, I'd like you to tell me which one you found most interesting. For example, you might say how people found tomatoes being poisonous, for many years, or about where throwing the baby out with the bathwater was interesting, or how being a June bride came around to being. Something that has to do with a story that I told, or it could be where Saved by the Bell came from. That one freaked me out to no end. So just kind of mention it in your comment, because I want this to be for my people who are actually watching my videos, and not just someone who thinks, oh, you know, some people get on here and they think, oh, it's a giveaway. So I want my people who stick with me and watch with me to get the best chance of being entered into this grand giveaway we're going to have. So just mention one of the little, I guess, tales that I gave you of where some of these phrases came from. You might have found, let me see, what was, oh, I thought it was interesting where "it's raining cats and dogs" came from. I mean, you could even say something like, I think it's interesting that animals used to stay on the roofs of houses to stay warm. Just something that had to be in the story, something that you remember. So I'm not asking you to, you know, tell me the whole story. Oh, heck no. Just something brief, you know, about the story. I would hate to take baths after all the men. Yeah, that would be something that would be appropriate to put, because that's exactly that had to do with one of the stories I told, where some of these phrases came from. Anything that has to do with it, I would think it'd be fine. I mean, like if you said, I'm glad we don't drink out of lead glasses anymore. Or, my goodness, there's so many different things that you could put. But it just has to do something with the story. And all of you out there are intelligent, and you know which one stuck out the most in your mind. I tell you what, that one, the Saved by the Bell, that freaked me out. Can you imagine seeing scratches on the lid of a coffee? You know, the inside part of the lid? Oh my gosh. Or you could put, I'd be the first one in that tub, not my husband. That's how I would feel. But back then, women were not seen as they are today. So I'm glad I live in this day and age, and not back then. A lot of times women were seen as, you know, something, you know, you owned, I guess. So I'm just glad I live in the time that I do now. But just mention something from one of the stories I told. And when I do the drawing next week, I usually try to do these on Wednesdays. Yesterday, I didn't get to. I'll tell you why in just a moment. So I will do a drawing one day next week, so you can watch and see if your name is going to be one of those that's going to be put into the grand prize giveaway. And like I said, we're adding new things every week. Actually, 2 new things, because Rebecca has been doing hers also. And she did her last one on Sunday morning. I will link that below so you can see what the prize is. I'm not going to tell you. You'll have to go look. So, the reason I didn't get to do this yesterday, those of you who've been with me for a while know about Isaac. He's a young man that I met. It's been, gosh, 6 years ago, I guess. He is now 19. I met him when he was 13. I was teaching school, and he came in here from Honduras. He came here on a child abuse visa. His mom brought him here. He had been living with his dad and stepmom. Stepmom was beating him and his sister pretty much every day. Or she wouldn't feed them. Just horrible things. So, I was teaching ESL at the time, and so he was in my class, and he, of course, learned English. We became very close. He comes over, and he and my husband have gone fishing. He's close to my brother Greg that lives next door. Well, Isaac had signed up to go into the Marines. Yesterday, the recruiter, the sergeant who was the recruiter, went to his pastor's home to meet with the people who are interested in Isaac's life. Isaac's mom passed away. This May 5th will be 2 years. And his dad is in Honduras. So stepdad really doesn't play a part in his life at all anymore. He has 3 half-sisters that live with his stepdad. But he and his sister that's 16 don't live there. The older sister lives with her pastor's family. Mom asked if that would be okay. She knew she was dying from cancer, and they did. And Isaac is now, he's in an apartment with a friend working. But anyway, the recruiter came, and he asked me if I would go. As, you know, as being, you know, a family. He calls me abuelita. And most of you know that means grandmother. It's an endearing term for grandmother in Spanish. And he'd asked me if he could call me that after his mom passed away. And I said, of course you can. So, I get to be there for a lot of his important journeys in life. So, yeah, that's where I went yesterday, is to be with him and to hear about the things that were going to be going on. I'm hoping that he'll be able to come on here with me and do either a live or just a regular video, depending on when he can come, you know, what time or whatever. He is being sent out to boot camp on February 24th, so we got to do it really soon. But I am so proud of him. My brother Daryl, who I lost to cancer this past Christmas Eve, Isaac did get a chance to talk with him over the phone, and Daryl told him some things about the Marines and what to expect. So, Isaac had met Daryl once before, and I'm just very proud of Isaac. He's a very outstanding young man, and what he's been through, his story is unbelievable. And to be the sweet, kind young man that he is, gives me faith in this generation. He's really a good guy. And shoot, if I'd been through a lot of the things he's been through, I'm not sure, you know, how I would have turned out. Just a very strong young man. But that's where I was yesterday for the afternoon. And well, then when I got home, my daughter called, and I hadn't talked to her in a while. So we ended up talking on the phone for almost 4 hours. So my day was shot at that point. So that's the reason I'm a day late. I'll try to do better next week. But you know, like I said, life happens. I didn't know about this with Isaac until yesterday. He let me know yesterday about it, you know, about an hour before the recruiter was coming. So I needed to change and get ready and all that good stuff. So I think I've probably bent your ear long enough today. I don't have any idea, because I've done this in stopping and starting to show different things. But isn't this beautiful? I'll be working on this some more. This is the reason I do this off camera, is because when I'm talking I don't work as fast. because I'm thinking about what I want to say and that kind of thing. So you can see the striations of the colors here a little bit. I cannot wait to see the whole thing and see what those are going to look like. This is beautiful. Go check Studio Arts. Treasure Studios Art. I'm sorry. Let me show you. Let me pull you all the way out. I keep turning that the wrong way. I love this. This is what I'm thinking about, doing it in square ABs. These people. I mean, yeah, because this is a 2.5 size, so it would have to be in squares. But I haven't decided yet. I might just do them just in regular black, because these are 310s. All the hearts are 310s. And I'll need to order the squares. But I do have these small sparklers in regular sparklers. And I even have some in a reddish color. So I know I'm going to do those. So I'm not sure if that would be just too much to do them in all AB. So I might just do the other. Okay, so this is Treasure Studios Art. She's fabulous. She does customs. If you have a picture you want to done as a custom and you really don't know what you want, hey, she is a graphic designer. Like I said, she's doing a custom for me, and once it's all done and I get it, I will show it to you. It will be a little while with things going on, and she's got to work on some of the coloration on it. Anyway, I'm going to let you go, and I hope you're having a lovely, blessed day, night, morning, whatever it might be when you watch this. And don't forget, keep watching. When you see those little pink emblems for Valentine's Collab, GB Multis, and Crafting Journey with Rebecca, there's some kind of a prize involved. Plus, I hope you enjoy listening to me talk. And did you stick with me the whole way this time? I have several of you telling me I stuck the whole way. So I appreciate you guys. Y'all are fabulous. Take care. God bless. Love you. Bye.